Give us an example of someone that you might be interacting with and what their concerns would be about some words that you would offer. How would that play out?
Well, as an example very close to home, my wife bought me Asking and It's Given, and she thought it was a biblically based work. And,
it is.
Okay. And I loved it.
Aren't those words in the Bible?
Yes. And once she heard about, the beginning part, like when you were talking to Oprah on...
Well, have you ever considered, and this is a good thing to ask them, how do they think their Bible got onto the page? How did it get there?
I would imagine they would say the inspired Word of God.
So how is that different? Jerry and Esther did a radio show in Texas years ago. It was the first public thing they did other than inviting people to where they were. And Texas is in the middle of what they call the Bible Belt, and this interviewer was very much of that mindset, and so his callers were of that mindset. And a woman called and said to Abraham, "You are inappropriate on every level," she said, "because you are teaching people things that are different than what the Bible teaches, and when they die, they're going to be in trouble because you are going to have misled them." And we said to her, "So what is the frame of reference that you utilize in order to guide your life?" And she said, "The Bible." And we said, "And how is it that the Bible has come to be in the possession of man?" And she had never thought about that. It never occurred to her that someone had to get into vibrational alignment in order to receive. The inconsistencies in the Bible never occurred to her. In other words, she's like so many people. She takes a few things that someone else have told her, and she says, "This is how I live my life." And we say, it's such a scanty guidance in comparison with the all-day, everyday, insightful guidance that you have available to all of you. If you read that book or any inspired book, there are many of them, all religions have at their basis some text that was inspired from someone coming into alignment. And then they spend the rest of their centuries bickering and killing one another over whose interpretation is accurate, when every single one of you has your own unique interpretation. Each of you came forth into this physical experience as an extension of Source, and each of you is living your own unique experience and giving birth to your own unique desires. And the Source within you is uniquely becoming the expanded version of you. And the relationship between where you are and that expanded version of you is what is at the basis of the guidance that comes forth from within you. And you were born with this incredible guidance system that lets you know the vibrational relationship of where you are. The guidance is supreme, and it's accurate, and it's with every one of you, and it's in the moment. And why any of you would look to any book outside of you to use for guidance other than this in the moment guidance is just an incredible thing to us. It's amazing that anyone could get so far away from their guidance. We don't want you to take any of the books that we have written and carry them around and try to find your answers to what to do right here, right now in those books. They aren't there. What's in those books is how to activate within you your awareness of who you really are and how to turn and go in the direction of who you have become, you see. We know that you cannot answer these questions. These people, for the most part, that you are talking about are not asking those questions. They do not want to know how to guide their own life. They have a long time ago decided that somebody else has already decided how they should live their life. They take this scanty little set of rules and they try to live their life by it, and they get more and more and more and more frustrated and more mean, because all day, every day life causes them to be more, and all day, every day they don't go. And all day, every day, then they condemn those who do go. And we say, the good news is that the deletion ratio is taking care of this, because the old ornery ones are croaking one by 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 one. Reemerging into pure positive non-physical energy, the new ones being born know that they are invincible, know that they are powerful creators, and then those like you are coming into alignment. So your question is, how can I soothe, dear people, dear well-meaning people like my wife and others. How can I soothe them? Jerry had the same thing with Esther. He was reading some weird Seth book, and Esther was put off by it. She didn't want it. She said, you can bring it home, but don't bring it in the bedroom. I don't want that weird stuff in there with me while I'm sleeping. Who knows what could happen?
Very, very similar.
And so Jerry didn't try to shove it at her. He just read it, and when he found something that resonated with him, he would talk about it, and Esther would feel that it resonated. And we promise you that if Jerry had said some of that to Esther, and Esther had said, no, 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 he would not have moved forward. He just began living his life with that new insight, softly talking about it. And the realities of the laws of the universe begin to be obvious. In other words, this knowledge of who you really are resonates very deeply within you. We are not encouraging anyone to follow a particular language or a particular religion. We think that there is value in every religion that exists on the planet. Jerry and Esther have been determined from the beginning that they do not want this to be a religion. They do not want this to be a following. They say to each other all day, every day, what we want to do is put Abraham in his front, as many people who are willing to make the time to come so that they can ask questions, so that this message can continue to expand. And as the message expands, law of attraction will bring to the message those who are ready for it. No assertion whatsoever. Assertion isn't possible in an attraction-based universe. When you look at something you want and say yes to it, you attract it. When you look at something you don't want and shout no at it, you attract it. If we were standing in your physical shoes, what we would say to anyone who says, oh, that worries me just a little bit, something you said there makes me feel uncomfortable, we would say to them, then try to look at it in a way that doesn't make you uncomfortable. And they would say, no, you need to say it in a way that doesn't make me uncomfortable. And you say, well, you see, that makes me uncomfortable. And I got to tell you, if it's me being uncomfortable or you being uncomfortable, I choose you. Don't you think that's remarkable? Now they'd say, oh, well, since you've made me uncomfortable, then I won't play with you. And you would say, because I'm comfortable in something you're not comfortable in, we're not playing anyway. You can't fake it. You cannot offer words that are different from the vibration. And once you come into knowledge of who you are, you can't go back. You can't become less than the being that you have become, you see. So you didn't exactly get the answer that you wanted, because we think that what you wanted from us was a way that you could bring them along anyway without helping them to understand that it's a vibrational universe, that they are vibrational interpreters, that they are extensions of source energy, and that until they line up with that, they will not have any real success. And we cannot say that, because until you understand that you are extensions of source, and until you understand that the source part of you is expanded, and until you point in the direction of that, you will not have success, you will not have joy, you will not fulfill your reason for being. There is really no reason for being. And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would not play that silly game with them. We'd teach them alignment, and with it will come all of the success that they are seeking. And then you could point out to them, have you ever wondered why some prayers are answered and some aren't? You ever wondered why God seems so arbitrary? Well, the answer is everyone gets to ask and everyone is answered. But if you're not in vibrational alignment with what you're asking for, you cannot receive it. Jerry and Esther are knocked over by the number of people that they meet that have not had a knowledge based in law of attraction. They have not heard these words. They've not been listening to Abraham tapes or coming to these seminars. But their own life has shown them that the better they feel, the better things go. And so this is a very simple thing to understand. Don't make it a war against anything. That never works. Just be who you are. And here's another thing that is really helpful. So let's say you're interacting with someone and you have a bead on their success. In other words, you see their struggle and you know what they want. And you, like their inner being and like the source within them, turns your undivided attention toward their success. Not toward where they are. You're only looking at where they're going. You're only looking at what they want. And you're looking at it and you're feeling so good about their success that you're just emanating that feeling. And now they're interacting with you. And your attitude toward them, because you see where they're going, you've practiced yourself into that, is this is going to be simple for you, and you are so deserving of it, and I see all kinds of reasons why this will work for you, and there is so much evidence that I see. In other words, you're beating the drum of why it will work for them. Can you feel how you, like Source, only you're like a satellite dish that's beamed it in closer where they can hear it, you're calling them toward their success. And they will feel the momentum of that. They will feel the exhilaration of that. They will feel the rightness of that. But if you're dealing with people who for some reason have some belief, some deep-seated belief that they should not be succeeding, that they should not be looking for success, then we would not spend any time trying to inspire them toward it, because a big part of them is saying, no, I should not go, you see. Let law of attraction sort it all out for you. It will.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.